The sun was setting, casting a warm orange glow over the village of Tanfia. The market was busy. Women shouted prices over stalls of fresh yams, dried fish, and colorful fabrics. Men sat under the big baobab tree, chewing on kola nuts and discussing the latest village news. Children ran around playing with old ties and sticks. Then something changed. A mysterious old woman walked into the market square. Her clothes were torn, her feet covered in dust, and her face was hidden under an old scarf and her grey hair popping out. The village moved slowly, like someone who had been walking for days. People stopped to watch. She took a few more steps, then suddenly collapsed in front of Auntie Ceci's tomato stand. Gasps filled the air. Hey, what happened? What is going on? What happened? What happened? Women rushed to help her. Give her water, give her water, give her water. She's suffering, give her water. The village chief, Nana Kwame, was called. He stood tall in his rich kente cloth, his golden bracelet shining in the evening light. His face was serious as he looked down at the poor woman. Who are you? The old one opened her eyes slowly. Tears rolled down her cheeks. My name is Mama Koto. She whispered. I have no home. My children, they beat me up. They chased me away like a dog. A heavy silence filled the air. The villagers shook their head in disbelief. Sophia Kwa, God forbid. How can children do this to their own mother? Why would they do that? These children must be very wicked. The women clicked their tongues, their hearts breaking for the poor old woman. One of the market women, Auntie Koto, stepped forward. She was a kind woman, married with 4 children. She lifted Mama Koto gently. I will not let you sleep in the cold ground, she said. Come and stay in my home until we find a solution. The villagers nodded in agreement. That is right, Mama Efia, that is right. But in the crowd, Baba Osei, the oldest man in the village, watched closely. His face was serious. Something is not right, he said to himself. What could that be? That night, Auntie Efia, the woman who gladly welcomed Auntie Koto in her home, took her home into their house. Her husband, Uncle Kojo, and their children greeted the old woman with warm smiles. They gave her food, a warm clothes to bath, a warm clothes to wear, a good shower, a soft mat to sleep on. They were just so kind to Mama Koto. Mama Koto wept. She wept like a baby as she was eating her evening supper, thanking them over and over and over again. You are far too kind, Mommy Efia. You are just too kind, she said. But soon, Mama Koto began to complain every morning. My children, they are so wicked. They are wicked. They are wicked. Why would they do that to me? She would cry and cry and cry and cry every day. What kind of heartless people are they? Why would they beat their own mother? Why would they do that? They are so wicked. She always was complaining. Auntie Efia's husband would shake his head in disbelief and say, your kids must be very wicked. Who does that to their own mother? Who does that? They felt sorry for her. Honestly, they felt so sorry for Auntie Koto. So they treated her like a queen. They gave her the best part of the meat anytime they served her. They washed her clothes for her every evening. They gave her good clothes every time to change her clothes. They gave her soft drinks. They treated her like a queen. They even bought her new clothes from the market. Their children massage her feet before bedtime every evening. Mama Koto acted righteous. She always prayed loudly, saying she was a good woman who only wanted peace. You could hear Mama Koto in the night praying and screaming to God to thank the kind heart of Auntie Efia and her husband. Sometimes at night, when the family was asleep, Auntie Koto would sit outside alone, staring at the moon and saying words to herself no one could hear. After a few weeks, the villagers decided that Mama Koto deserved a proper home. She cannot live in someone's house forever, Nana Kwame said one evening. The entire village came together to help her. They contributed money to set up a home for Mama Koto. The young men worked as laborers, mixing cement and laying bricks. The women cooked big pots of food for the workers. The children ran around helping to carry small bricks and small buckets of water. It was a community effort just to help Mama Koto. By the end of 2 months, a beautiful brick house stood at the edge of the village near the river, all for Mama Koto. On the day Mama Koto moved in, guess what? The chief organized a big celebration for her. Drums played, people danced, the village elders poured libation to bless the home. In fact, everyone in the village loved Mama Koto. She was more like a queen of the village. Everybody was glad to have her, and they gave her their all just to make this old woman feel comfortable. Nana Kwame himself cut the ribbon during the house opening. Mama Koto cried and cried and cried and cried and thanked everyone. She was so happy. She was so excited. I will never forget this kindness, she said, wiping her tears. The villagers cheered on. Little did they know, this was the beginning of their nightmare. Curious? Let's get into it. One evening, Mama Koto sat with the village women and told them more about her past. She told them stories of her growing up and what she was doing in her old village. She told them so many stories about herself. And she said also to the people, to the women seated, that she used to have an orphanage in her old village. She said, I used to have an orphanage in my old village. So many children, so many mouths to feed. I was feeding so many people. So many people survived just by me. The women nodded in admiration. You are far too kind, Mama Koto. You are so kind. To think that you were doing all of these for people from your old village, even at your old age. Oh, Mama Koto, you are just too kind. Mama Koto sighed. But now, I have nothing. I only wish I could still help these poor children. They have no clothes, no shoes, nothing. The village women felt sorry for her. We will help you, Mama. We will help you. And so, every Saturday, the villagers brought her old clothes. Their worn-out shoes, their faded dresses, their torn trousers. In fact, some of them even brought new clothes they had in their closet for Mama Koto to go help the supposed orphanage she had. Sometimes women went into the market to buy clothes and give it out to Mama Koto to help her orphanage. Auntie Efia went door to door collecting the clothes for Mama Koto. People brought entire sacks of clothes all to Mama Koto's home for her orphanage. The young boys helped carry the bundles of donations to her house. In fact, they were all just excited to help Mama Koto, to help her orphanage. It became a norm in the village, and so every Saturday, even without anyone being questioned, they would pack large bags of clothes to bring to Mama Koto to help the orphanage. Nobody thought anything was wrong with that. In fact, they were just helping an orphanage. They were just helping this poor old woman help other people who were in need in her old village. Soon after the clothes donation started, a few months down the line, strange things began to happen in the village. Animals were disappearing. Goats, chicken, dogs. In fact, so many animals were just disappearing in the village. But nobody thought of it. People had nightmares. Women woke up screaming, saying they saw shadowy figures standing at their doors. But still, no one thought of it. The air felt different. In fact, the village kind of felt heavier as the days go by. It was heavier as though something unseen was watching them. One night, Baba Osei sat outside chewing on her sugarcane. Then he heard something, a whisper, soft, almost like wind was peeping. Then he heard footsteps. He peered into the darkness just to see what was going on. He was so curious because these sounds were so strange to him. This was something he had never heard before, and so he was just curious to know what was going on. Then he heard footsteps and footsteps and footsteps. He was still wondering what could that be, because this was a village where everybody loved each other, and seeing something like this was so strange to him. So he kept on quiet just to observe where the footsteps were coming from. But guess what? He saw nobody. Then later, a shadow moved near Mama Koto's house. She was awake and carrying something heavy. Hold on, listeners. Why is Mama Koto carrying heavy bags at night? I want you to think about this question. Why are people having strange dreams? Why are animals getting missing in the village? What is happening to the animals? What could be causing the strange nightmares people were having? And in fact, think of it. Mama Koto always projected herself as weak and feeble. So where did she get the strength to carry heavy bags on her back at night? And where was she carrying these bags to? Where was she carrying these bags to? Don't worry, all of these questions will be answered in the next part of this story. So watch out for part 2 of the story. Drop your comments in the comment sections. Tell me what you think was happening. Tell me what you think is coming up in part 2. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your post notifications, and don't miss the part 2 of the story. See you all. Thanks for watching.